Good evening. This is All India Radio and I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Christian Michel sent to 5-day CBI custody by a Delhi court in Augusta Westland VVIP chopper deal. Former Coal Secretary H.C. Gupta and 2 other bureaucrats sentenced to 3 years jail term in a coal scam. RBI keeps all key policy rates unchanged. Campaigning for assembly elections in Rajasthan and Telangana ends, polling on Friday. Sahitya Academy Awards for 2018 announced. And in sports, India take on Australia in the first cricket test of the 4-match series at Adelaide tomorrow morning. Germany beat the Netherlands 4-1. Pakistan and Malaysia play 1-1 draw in Men's World Cup hockey. A Delhi court today sent Christian Michel, British middleman in the 3,600 crore rupee Augusta Westland VVIP chopper scam case, to 5-day CBI custody. The CBI had sought a 14-day custody, saying it wants to confront Michel with evidence and also unearth the money trail in the scam. Michel's advocate, however, asked the court to send him to judicial custody. Michel was produced before Special CBI Judge Arvind Kumar this afternoon. A bail plea was also moved on behalf of Michel. The court asked CBI to provide all relevant documents, including the charge sheet to Michel. The absconding British middleman was arrested by the CBI at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi in the wee hours today after being extradited to India from the UAE. A Delhi court today sentenced former Coal Secretary H.C. Gupta and 2 other bureaucrats, S. Kropha and K.C. Samaria, to 3 years imprisonment in a coal scam case. Later, they were granted bail as the jail term was below 4 years. On the 30th of last month, the court had found them guilty in a corruption and criminal conspiracy case relating to allotment of coal blocks in West Bengal. Managing Director of Vikas Metals and Power Limited, Vikas Patni, and its authorized signatory, Anand Malik, were given 4-year jail term. The court also fined the company 1 lakh rupees. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has maintained status quo on all key policy rates in the 5th bi-monthly monetary policy review announced this afternoon. The repo rate remains unchanged at 6.5% and the reverse repo rate at 6.25%. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends to banks, generally against government securities. The reverse repo is the rate at which RBI borrows money from banks. The RBI has kept the marginal standing facility rate and the bank rate at 6.75%. The 6-member Monetary Policy Committee, headed by RBI Governor Urjit Patel, unanimously voted to maintain status quo on policy rates. In the last policy announced in October, RBI had kept all the policy rates unchanged. RBI has lowered its inflation forecast based on moderation in food inflation and sharp decline in international crude oil prices. Mr. Patel said inflation is projected to be in the range of 2.7 to 3.2% in the second half of this fiscal.
The MPC was of the view that the broad-based weakening of food prices and the sharp decline in international crude oil prices imparts a downward bias to the headline inflation trajectory going forward. In contrast, there has been a broad-based increase in inflation in non-food groups. Accordingly, taking all this together, inflation is projected at 2.7 to 3.2% in the second half of 2018-19 and 3.8 to 4.2% in the first half of 2019-20, with risks tilted to the upside.
On the growth front, RBI retained GDP growth rate projection at 7.4% for this fiscal and at 7.5% in the first half of 2019-20. The government has welcomed the RBI's assessment for growth and inflation. Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, Subhash Chandra Garg, said the Monetary Policy Committee MPC assessment is consistent with the government's assessment of inflation and growth. Mr. Garg said the government has noted the MPC decision to maintain the policy rate, but said the policy stance probably required calibration. Campaigning for the assembly elections in Telangana and Rajasthan came to an end this evening. Both the states will go to polls on Friday. Senior leaders of various political parties held back-to-back rallies to turn the mandate in their favor. Election authorities have made elaborate arrangements to ensure free and fair polling. In Telangana, over 2.8 crore electorate will exercise their right to franchise at over 32,800 polling stations across the state. A total 1,821 candidates, including 135 women, are contesting in all the 119 assembly constituencies. More from our Hyderabad correspondent.
Men and material will start moving towards polling stations from tomorrow onwards, with the high-decibel campaigning for the Telangana Assembly elections coming to a grinding halt this evening. Elaborate arrangements are in final stage to ensure electors to cast their vote in a free and fair manner. Over 1.5 lakh poll personnel will be deployed at nearly 32,800 polling stations in 119 constituencies. Over 270 companies of central forces, 30,000 state police, 18,000 forces from other states have already reached for deployment. Over 120 crore rupees worth cash have been seized under code violations, besides 4 lakh litres of liquor. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
In Rajasthan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed election rallies at Sumerpur and Dausa, while BJP President Amit Shah held a roadshow in Ajmer. Former Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and State Congress Chief Sachin Pilot also addressed public meetings and held roadshows across the state. Our Jaipur correspondent has filed this report.
2,274 candidates, including 189 women, are in fray for 199 out of total 200 assembly seats in the state. Election in Alwar district's Ramgarh seat is postponed due to death of the BSP candidate. Chief Electoral Officer Anand Kumar told that all preparations have been completed for conducting free and fair poll. Departure of polling parties have started from today. There are more than 4 crore 77 lakh voters in the state, including 20 lakh new electors. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Counting of votes in Rajasthan and Telangana will be taken up coming Tuesday, along with Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Mizoram. In Assam, 65.5% polling has been reported in the first phase of Panchayat polls, as per a provisional report. State Election Commissioner Harendranath Bora said the percentage is expected to increase as reports from a few places are yet to come in. He said polling was by and large peaceful. He also said that repolling at a few booths may be required on Friday. A total of 43,515 candidates are in the fray in this phase. The ruling BJP and its ally, Ahom Gana Parishad, are contesting the Panchayat polls independently. Congress, AIUDF, left parties, Bodoland People's Front and independent candidates, among others, are also in the fray. 442 candidates have been declared winners unopposed. The second phase of polling will be held on the 9th of this month. Counting will be held on the 12th of this month. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. You can also log on to our website newsonair.nic.in. Sahitya Academy today announced its annual awards in 24 languages. 7 books of poetry, 6 novels, 6 short stories, 3 of literary criticism and 2 of essays have won the Sahitya Academy Awards 2018. Those who have won the award for their collection of poetry include Shanonto Tanti in Assamese, Paresh Narendra Kamath in Konkani, S. Rameshan Nair in Malayalam and Dr. Ramakant Shukla in Sanskrit. Writers who won the awards for short stories include Sanjeev Chattopadhyay in Bengali, Mushtaq Ahmad Mushtaq in Kashmiri and Professor Beena Thakur in Maithili. Indrajit Kesar in Dogri, Anis Salim in English and Chitra Mudgal in Hindi are among the awardees in the novel category. The Academy said the awards will be presented at a special function to be held on the 29th of January next year at New Delhi during the Festival of Letters to be organized by Sahitya Academy. An eminent short story writer, Mushtaq Ahmed Mushtaq, bagged the award for his collection of short stories Arc. An Indian Information Service officer, Mushtaq Ahmed is presently posted as head of the regional news unit at Radio Kashmir, Srinagar. The government has sanctioned 254 projects worth over 24,000 crore rupees under the National Mission for Clean Ganga. Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation Minister Nitin Gadkari said around 5,000 crore rupees have been spent in the last 4 years under it. Mr. Gadkari was speaking after inaugurating the India Water Impact Summit 2018 in New Delhi today. He said the government has decided to spend another 3,000 crore rupees next year under the program. He also said the government has earmarked 20,000 crores for 5 years towards the Clean Ganga program.
Ganga is very important for the country, for the people at large. It's a lifeline. And since inception of Ganga cleaning program in 1985 to till 2040, central government spent less than ₹4,000 crores. While after our government comes, we have made provision of ₹20,000 crore for 5 years for Ganga.
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan has convened an all-party meeting on the 11th of this month to ensure smooth proceedings in the lower house. The winter session of Parliament will be held from the 11th of this month to the 8th of January next year. The government has also called for an all-party meeting on the 10th of this month ahead of the winter session of Parliament. 8 important bills are likely to be passed in the Rajya Sabha and 15 in the Lok Sabha during the session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO for the successful launch of GSAT-11, which is the heaviest, largest and most advanced high-throughput communication satellite of India. GSAT-11 was successfully launched by an Ariane space rocket from French Guiana in the early hours today. It is the third in a series of 4 satellites that will provide the country broadband connectivity of over 100 gigabytes per second. Benchmark domestic stocks closed with losses for the second consecutive day today due to weak global cues. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange fell 250 points to close at 35,884. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also slipped 87 points to 10,783. However, the rupee today appreciated 4 paise to close at 70 rupees 46 paise against the US dollar. On to sports news. India will take on Australia in the first cricket test of the 4-match series at Adelaide tomorrow. The match will begin at 5:30 a.m. India is entering the series as the number 1 test team in the world. 2-time champions Germany outclassed last edition silver medalist Netherlands 4-1 in their second Pool D match to inch closer towards booking a direct quarter-final berth at the ongoing Men's Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar today. In the second match, Pakistan and Malaysia played out a 1-1 draw. With this draw, Pakistan continue to maintain third position and Malaysia fourth. In Pool A matches tomorrow, Spain will lock horns with New Zealand at 5 p.m. and Argentina face France at 7 p.m. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Christian Michel sent to 5-day CBI custody by a Delhi court in Augusta Westland VVIP chopper deal. Former Coal Secretary H.C. Gupta and 2 other bureaucrats sentenced to 3 years jail term in a coal scam. RBI keeps all key policy rates unchanged. Campaigning for assembly elections in Rajasthan and Telangana ends. Polling on Friday. Sahitya Academy Awards for 2018 announced. And in sports, India take on Australia in the first cricket test of the 4-match series at Adelaide tomorrow morning. Germany beat the Netherlands 4-1. Pakistan and Malaysia play 1-1 draw in Men's World Cup Hockey. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.in. and that is all in the news at 9. Good night.